Well, welcome back to the late day wrap up. Yeah, I think that's a good name for this, as I do want to follow up on a short term analysis for Bitcoin. Also, check out the major indices for US markets, that being NASDAQ and, of course, SPY as well. And then we'll start it off actually with good old Dixie and a little bit on Ethereum as well, because that one is the star of the show right now. So, with that said, I would like to wish you the best and rapid fire speed right now. Let's get into it. So, starting off with Dixie, once again, putting a nice little high right around the 10 simple on the weekly, as we did say was likely to happen, and essentially play within this region for the next for the next few weeks actually. So with that in mind, I am still looking for a greater reversal upon this region, or except not on this chart. God damn it, come on, let's go back on over here. Apologies to all the God-fearing people out there, because apparently people really don't like that. Hey, it's just a lazy expression, that's all. It doesn't mean anything by it. No foul intent at least intended on my own behalf. So with that in mind, yes, we are still playing within the same sort of I wouldn't necessarily say it's an accumulation range, but more importantly, a short-term, medium-term reversal range on the weekly, of which I would be looking for Dixie to essentially play between our current high of about $91, just above $91 to actually be exact, and our current closing low at about 89 and 3/4, right down around here. Now, of course, this is technically speaking working on a higher low compared to our February 2018 low back on over here. Now, this one just barely a higher low to be fair, but as it stands, it technically would be. And while I am looking for a short-term and medium-term reversal, do not confuse that with a long-term reversal. That sort of talk, that sort of narrative is very far away. Doesn't mean that it can't happen, but I just need to see a lot more proof with price action first before I start to get on the full-on reversal back onto new all-time highs for Dixie, except that's very far away anyways. I don't think that that's happening anytime soon, like not within the next few years at least. And what do we see right here? Yes, that critical region where I could start to bring back that conversation would be getting back above the same breakdown point that we had about 2.5 to 3 months ago now, back on over here, or actually I guess this was about 2 months ago in middle of November. So that would be about $92, just above $92. And as you can see right now, we got plenty of work to do. But with that in mind, while I am looking for a short-term, medium-term reversal here, make no mistake, it likely does draw at its time. The last few macro lows that we have seen on Dixie typically do take, a little bit more than 3 months. This one coming in back on over here was about 14 to 15 weeks. The one before that on our last macro low was way the fuck back on over here in May 2011, taking about the same time actually, 3 months just above. And the time before that we had an actual macro low being put into this was May of 08. May of 08, you might sound familiar, as well as that was a good old crash, or maybe not so good old, but you know what I mean. Lots of opportunity right there. And of course, this one also taking about 3 months as well. So with that in mind, you can see that we've only spent about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 count of weeks we're working on week number 5 right now. So while I do think that we're going to play out a bigger bounce from this and probably test maybe even around that $92 region, it's going to take its time first. So no real rush on that regard. And as long as this is going on, I don't really, it's just essentially a range. Short term, however, would I be looking for another move to the downside of the range? Yeah, probably would. Probably does come back down and play around, $90 even, maybe a little bit below there. But overall, I'd be looking for this range to essentially hold, again, high of about $91 and low of about 89 and 3/4 on a weekly closure. Daily is going to be a little bit lower than that, about 89 and 30 cents. So with that in mind, if we go down to like the very, very low term timeframes, is there anything to be aware of right here? Short term, a little bit of downside implied, yes, but that's, not really anything too crazy. All right, so on to major US indices we go, and I want to follow up on this morning's analysis as we were bullish on NASDAQ for move back on a 13,150-ish region, and what do you know? There it is, the market that never goes down. Anyways, daily having a very clear continuation of trend, putting another higher low right here, hidden bullish divergence that we identified this morning, or I guess it was yesterday, actually, technically speaking, and also daily Stokes crossed back onto the upside as well, looking pretty damn good across the board. So I do look at this as likely to not just, we've already tested the prior all-time high, but likely make new all-time highs right here, maybe over the next couple days, maybe even 2 day. Again, still looking at the 13,150-ish region right here as maybe a short-term pullback region. However, that is not really a reversal region. The next major algo target is going to be right around about 13,500. Not necessarily saying that's happening today, but probably for the next few weeks, I would be looking for things to come around here. And then I'd be cautious around the 414, the 618, which is about 13.6 or 13.8 respectively speaking. So melting up once again, and fair enough. I mean, the weekly is very fucking strong right here. A clear buyback on up. I mean, that's That's fucking textbook, baby. That's fucking textbook right there. Anyways, SPY, what do we see? It's very, very similar chart. Not as strong as NASDAQ. So once again, NASDAQ is leading the rotational market, but very similar things going on right here. Hidden bullish divergence that we identified this morning. Also, daily momentum also is turning back up as well. And essentially just a continuation of trend. How powerful is that? Just being able to identify a higher high and a higher low. It's kind of crazy, but it can keep you bullish going all the way back and over here, which I actually do feel quite vindicated on which was like almost a year ago in April 2020 when everyone was super fucking bearish. Not everyone, obviously. It always feels good to the ego to say something like that. There's plenty of people bullish. I know several people in this community, especially that were very bullish right around here, myself included. And well, you know, about a year later, looks pretty fucking good. So at the end of the day, strong trend is your friend. And in this case, I don't really see any real reason to not be looking for continuation right here. Oh, yes. Oh yes, my chicken and beef is going to be ready soon. I'm so fucking excited. Anyways, okay, cool. So let's go over to, do we want to do Bitcoin first or Butyrol first? Let's do Bitcoin first. Why not? And again, you know, if you want the full-on analysis, check out this morning's video. Feeling a little bit under the weather this morning. I don't know what it was, but I feel like okay-ish now, I guess. Well, good enough to do a video like this, so no problem. Anyways, what do we see on the what did we see on the daily? Another move back down to the 21 exponential moving average. We did see on this morning's video and the couple days prior, Bitcoin essentially just playing in a range between about 37.5 and about 33.5 to the downside to get a move just below 34,000 bucks today. Close enough in my opinion on this one, and more importantly, now what I want to see is the reaction coming into the end of the day. Now, there's one critical thing, very, very critical right here. And I got this wrong on this morning's video, and shout out to Mr. Nick for pointing this out because I actually had the wrong settings on, but now I have the right settings on. And with the daily closure, if we are actually going to fulfill another test on this trend line and actually pop it back up, it was not about 30,500 bucks that I was suggesting this morning. It's actually about a little bit less than 41,000 bucks right here. So could it happen? Kind of. Yeah, I mean, it's possible, I guess, but is it probable? No, not very. So fair enough. You know, very likely does break this, and I'd be looking for a move all the way down to the lower end of the neutral zone, to be fair. But of course, I want to see that confirmed a little bit later today. If that does happen, I would be looking for a bit of a lower range explored here with about a $32,000 base coming in from our 4 hours right here, which is, yeah, coming in around the 200 simple and 200 exponential average. And yes, I would be looking for a bounce off those levels. So, you know, if I did have to call it right now, do I think there's going to be a little bit of short-term downside in Bitcoin still? Probably yes, but again, the range is still the range. I don't really have anything new to add on to that. And I would really look for Butyrol, Mr. Ethereum, for those of you who are not familiar with my weird version of English or crypto or trading lingo here. Sorry, sometimes I forget. I just get so fucking into it sometimes that, well, takes over, I guess. But there are a couple of very concerning things going on right here on the 12-hour especially. We technically have a downtrend on the 12-hour for the first time since... early December when Bitcoin was trading here below 18,000 bucks, and even then, I mean, that wasn't like a super powerful one, but technically, yes, we did have a downtrend there. More importantly, yes, we do have, for the first time in a very long time, this is getting confirmed on the last closure a few hours ago, as we do have a lower high, lower high. Well, we close on lower lows, so it must be a lower low after that. So fair enough. You know, does it come back down and grind up the 55 exponential average on the 12-hour? Very, very likely yes here. Would I also be looking for a bounce around that region, anywhere between about 32.5 to 33,000? Yes, as well. I'm not necessarily calling like a full-on breakdown from here, just a little bit of a short-term move. I really only get bearish on Bitcoin, which I can very easily get bearish on Bitcoin, but I only get bearish on Bitcoin with one of two things. Either a daily closure below about 32,000 bucks. Yeah, then we could talk about moves overall to like 23 or 24,000 bucks over the next, you know, I don't know, a couple weeks. By the same token, if we're looking at a 4 hour, because, you know, this is like the golden time frame for the lower term time frames, I'd say a closure below about 31,000 bucks would do it for me as well. But until those conditions are met, I still look at this as just a range. It's a massive range, yes, but that's the game that we play by playing fucking crypto magic internet money over here. Anyways, with that said, I'd look for Butyrol to kind of take the reins in this market, and assuming that Butyrol does continue upwards and onwards here, which I think it actually will, I look at that as more or less healthy for the general market, and that is going to be interpreted as more or less good. So what does that mean within the context of the current move? Well, we did see a move all the way back down, actually below 1,300 bucks. So this was very much possible this morning. The key critical component is this: where does the daily close? Does the daily close below 1,300, or is it actually 1,295 or 1,290 to be exact? It's more like 1,290 to be exact, to be fair. If that does happen, then yes, I would look for a move a little bit lower than that, at the very least to about 1130 to 1150ish region and a bounce implied there as well. Now, we did identify that this breakout or supposed breakout from yesterday's closure is not what we're looking for, actually. The volume signature was a key component of that one, and that's kind of why I also do think that you're seeing a little bit of a washout move right here. But if you do see that, if you do see a daily closure below this prior high right here at about 1290, we will have a swing failure pattern in progress, and, you know, while I would be looking for a bounce off 1130, could that turn into a full-on reversal? A lot of the time you do see swing failure patterns leading to that. So fair enough right now with all of that. However, on the lower term time frames, like a 4 hour, I think that it should be still noted that this is still very much an uptrend. I'm not like, I don't hate this. I don't think that this is like a problematic at all as it is. If a daily close below that level, yes, it will be problematic. If things remain as they are right now and you see the daily close above those above that $1,300 level that we just spoke about, I would still remain with my overall upside targets in mind. Still looking at, well, I guess I don't have it on this chart right here, but where is my other chart? Where are you? There you are, found you. Motherfucker, this isn't even the right one. I got too many goddamn Ethereums here. Why do I have 3? I have one for BitMEX, I have one for Stamp, and I have one for Poloniex. Okay, someone has to go. The reason why I have all 3 of those is because of the different historical narrative of all of them. Anyways, yes, so we are seeing a bit of a sell-off off to one spot 272 right here. That was our algo target from yesterday at 1450-ish region. Again, pretty damn common stuff to see something like that. The question is, where do we close at end of week? But that's not going to be too helpful for right now. You know, would I look for that area to play again if Buteral grinds this area up to the upside? No, I'd actually be looking a little bit higher than that, about 1500, and then for Buteral to play between about 15 and 1440-ish region before traveling higher than that. As typically speaking, those do not stop it. I'd really be looking towards the $2,000 level down the road, if, again, assuming that these conditions are met. Of course, I also do want to follow up on this as well, as we do have, I believe, a 2-day closing tonight, or do we? We do. Yeah, we do. Any sort of a 2-day closure above 1450, I'd be bullish towards a move towards about $2,000. You know, it's still a little bit far away from right now, a little bit more than $100, but we've all seen crazier things, and especially with momentum oscillators like DMI plus being dominant right now, plus ADX strengthening. I do like that read as well, but I want to see the actual fall through on top of this. So everything's in motion, everything's in place, but needs to hold those critical levels for me. Of course, it's not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, but fair enough. With that said, I would like to wish you the best. Hopefully this video was under 10 minutes. It wasn't, but that's okay. I'll see you in the next one. Salute you, and until next time.